Alright, here is the video review for the Perfect Effect PC-01 and PC-02 Perfect Combiner upgrade set. The black version is PC-01, the purple version is PC-02. They come in just some basic thin cardboard boxes in a plastic tray, and the instructions for them are just simply printed on the back of the box. There's no other insert or material involved in the package itself. Excuse me, I had to edit out a cough there. I inhaled a peanut or something. Anyway, so each set contains 2 hands, 2 feet, with and each of those can convert into weapons. Now, the feet, I think, are okay. When we get to combine mode, the feet are alright. Getting them on is a pain. They like to split, because the pieces do just split in half, and there's only one half that has the connector port. We'll get to that later on when we get to the combiners themselves. But each foot splits in half, and then this piece folds in half like this. This piece folds down. You can leave this folded down as well. And it basically makes like a Gatling gun. And when you've got the Gatling gun, and that's pretty much all there is to this. It just folds up and makes a Gatling gun. Now you can use the foot joint here to have a character hold it. There's a 5mm peg there. There's a fold down peg right here if you want to have somebody hold it at this point. And there is a fold down peg right up in here if you'd rather have somebody hold it from down here. So you've got a lot of different ways to use these or peg these in onto a vehicle or an alt mode for a robot. In and of itself, not bad. I don't know how often I'll use the giant Gatling gun version, but it's a neat little feature. The hands themselves, I don't like them as hands. I feel like they're especially way too skinny compared to the thing. You can see they're just kind of empty. They're just noodles. I mean, they're the long. They're all the same length, so there's no difference between them. They're all just a generic open hole because they have to be a gun, and they don't make very good hands. They look like they look skeletal. They look too much like what should be inside the hands you're building up here versus actual hands for the combiner. They should have thicker fingers, I feel. I'm just not impressed with them as hands. As a gun, however, like I said, you take this. You can see how it's split right there, and you can do this again. All of these are the same pieces. So you flip this over, flip out the handle here, flip these fingers around and up to form this rear side of the gun. Oh wait, no, this side. Okay, the side with the handle. You fold the fingers up, and then fold the thumb around to kind of form a sight for the rifle. You gotta straighten everything out, or it'll look a little silly. So make sure all the joints are straight. But each hand forms not bad rifle. Not bad. Forms a decent rifle. Again, you have to suffer with the holes in the tips of the fingers. But the rifle itself looks like a decent gun for the deluxes. You can have any 5. This is just turret. He's here for another review. But you can have any 5mm peg hole hold this as a rifle. And it works. I like it. Like I said, the hands as guns, I think, not a bad idea. It's just a shame that because they focused on that secondary gun mode, that the actual hand itself, the reason I wanted to get this to replace some of the bits on my combiners, the hand mode is just, the knuckles are too far. Like, I feel like this section of the finger is too long. You just can't get any. You get these really scarecrowy, like I said, skeleton-looking hands, and I'm not impressed with how these hands look. They just even trying to get some natural curves to the fingers, because they're all the same length and they're all just this cheap. You can kind of get like a decent handish pose out of it, but it just feels not right. It just feels too angular and skinny, and like I said, skeletal. Skeletal really is the word I'm looking for. It's like taking the T-800, like the end of Terminator, when just that hand is left. It's like that compared to an actual hand. It is how these feel. So, anyway, I've gone on enough against the hands. I don't like the hands. The feet are not bad, like I said. The big guns, I don't know how often I'll use the big guns, but it's nice that they included them. I do feel like turning the hands into small rifles for the individual figures works very well. So as guns, they're okay. And as guns, even the feet are not, like I said, there's a little bit of a bulk to the Gatling gun that's really designed for Voyagers or bigger to use. But it's not in and of itself horrible. Like I said, I do like the hands as guns. I just don't like them as hands, which unfortunately was why I was buying this set. Now, the feet themselves go on, and this tab right here plugs in, and you can see it's on a hinge. Now, here's my other problem with these sets. They plug in very securely onto the bottom of the feet, and we're going to pan out and we'll show you what these look like all attached. But you can't just take them as a foot and push them in. They're very stiff. They do require a lot of pressure to get in there. And getting these to stay in from the bottom, in order to get enough pressure to push this up in there at the right angle, these like to split in half. The best way to get this on is to go ahead and split the foot in half. Take the half that has the connector on it and support it with your thumb and push the half with the connector on up into the body. And once that's done, snap the foot back together. If you do that, like once you've done that, there's not a whole lot. I mean, like you can certainly bump this in such a way to have this split apart in combiner mode. But once that foot connector's solidly in, you can snap this back together, and you shouldn't have any problems posing and displaying this with the foot splitting apart. It's just while you're applying that pressure to snap it all the way into the bottom of the foot that it really is just a whole lot easier. Just go ahead and split the foot apart and push it in like that. Okay, come on. This is just holding the whole body awkward. So yeah, okay, fine. So yeah, push that in, then snap the foot together. All right, get you all set back up here. Don't worry, we'll pan out here. Now the ball joint in the feet, I don't know if it really makes them any sturdier. It does give them much bigger feet. I think proportionally that looks a little better. But the way that ball joint works, you basically it moves the loose point of support down to the ankles versus the knees. And because of the wider foot and the wider feet, especially on the wider bases to these figures, it does overall make the figure a little bit more stable. But it can become just as loose down here at the ankles now as it used to be up at the knees with the small feet. So you're kind of trading one point of instability for another. But I do like the way the feet look. The hands, like I said, I'm only going to swap out one hand. Here's again, we'll try to get them as close to a hand as possible. Now they do have slots here, so that can hold 5mm pegs. It looks kind of like a half cutout there, but it will support the 5mm weapons. It can hold, if you have the other hand as a gun, it can hold this peg as well. If you transform this half into a gun, the hands can hold themselves as a weapon as well, if you want. I'm just showing it off for the sake of it. But yeah, you can kind of bend this into some semblance of a claw here. And attach it to the thing, pull this off and attach it. But I just feel like it gives you a little bit more range of motion maybe, but I just feel like as a hand, there are certain angles where it doesn't look horrible, but it's just so skeletal and just doesn't really seem to fit what I like. It certainly doesn't fit the aesthetic of the feet. I think that's really. It's not even just like I don't like the skeletalness of it. That is definitely an issue for me. But part of it too is it adds these much bulkier feet, which I think were needed for these guys, and then gives it much skinnier hands. Which while these kind of hands could have stood to be slightly smaller in dimensions, like it takes the hands to an extreme that the feet currently were. It just trades one problem for another is the problem. And if these hands whether they transformed into a gun or not, these hands felt more disproportionate and more the same thing as the feet did. If they matched the feet, I'd be okay with them. It's just, that's frustrating because I feel like leaving in the stock Hasbro hands and putting on the Perfect Effect feet really is the best of both worlds on these figures. And then you can use these as the guns. Again, you can transform this down, turn this into a rifle here. And you can use these guns for any figure you want. Of course, you can even have, if you want, you can even have him hold them and use them as such here on TFsource. And it's the same with Minosaur. Go ahead and put the feet on him. But like I said, in this case, you're going to be seeing the same thing. Again, pop this in half. Only attach the half that has this attached. If you can. Come on, go in. There you go. And then snap it together. Come on. There we go. Same over here. There we go. Actually, look at that. Got his side on without actually having to take it apart. That's pure luck. Like I said, way easier to just attach the half with the peg hole or with the peg and then attach the other half. So there's his feet. And again, I think that they look good on Minosaur. We'll attach this hand, but again, these hands are just too dang small too dang skeletal for what they're trying to do here. Maybe I'll grow to get used to it, but I just do not like these hands as hands. Even when you fold them up into something resembling a fist, you can't even get like a decent fist out of them. Come on, stand up. So yeah, there's Minosaur with that fist. And again, that made that from sitting back here, that doesn't look too bad, but it really is just an awkward, lumpy, squarish, hollow fist. It's just. Maybe you'll like them. Maybe you'll grow to use them. I'm gonna try to leave them on and just see if maybe I can grow to get used to them. I just do not like them as fists at all. I think the aesthetic is just completely off when compared to the feet. But oh well. There is a white set they announced that we'll be releasing a white set for Superion. Although Superion I think is okay with the feet and stuff as it is. Like I said, so there's with the. Like I said, the feet are great. The feet themselves are fine. Their gun mode is okay, and I do like the small gun mode of the fists. I just do not like those fists as fists, and I wish these were a little bit more sturdy to attach in combiner mode. Although, like I said, once I figured out that you could just attach half of it and then get it. Fine, stay short. I don't care. Just stand. It's been a frustrating night. There we go. Yeah, once I figured out the secret of putting on half of the foot and then attaching it, saved a lot of frustration. It was getting very frustrating there. So yeah, there's the Perfect Effect. Well, there's the feet at any rate. Well, I guess there is one fist attached. Like I said, I'm tired. I've been frustrated. These things are frustrating me all night. The feet are worth getting, I think. The hands are fun as guns. Overall, my opinion is maybe less harsh than I initially tweeted about, but still, like I said, it's just I would have preferred these just be hands and feet and work very well as hands and feet than sacrifice what could have been good hands for a gun mode that I don't know how often I'll use. That's really what it boils down to.